You're welcome once again to the Polity, coming to you from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN Television, and my name remains Dayo Omoogun. It's a beautiful Thursday afternoon in this place. I don't know how your side is, but whatever it is, it's not so much what's happening, it's much more how you respond to what's happening. So I expect that you make the best of whatever circumstance that you are in right now, and before you know it, all things will work together again for your good, for excitement, for exhilaration, for happiness. And I say welcome once again. I have a guest with me with whom we're going to be looking at the issue of discussion today. We're going to be talking about the elections, but just zeroing in on the election results collation. Most Nigerians have said that the last election in Edo State was quite fairly well managed, except for the part of the collation. And so that's where we're looking at today. And we want to look at what gaps are there. Why are those? Why are there those manifestations? Why is it looking as if there is a game around the collation? And if indeed there is a game, how did we get there? How did is it our laws that have made this possible, made the environment enabling for that kind of a game? And if so, what should we be doing to close such gaps? And so this afternoon, with me in the studio is Hussain, Mshelia, Ismaila, a senior lecturer with the University of Abuja, and he was here a few weeks back, and it was a great time. I can assure you today will be no less. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you, sir. But actually, I'm not up to the position of senior lecturer.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Oh, so what is the proper designation?
Lecturer 2.
Okay, lecturer 2.
Yes.
All right. So I like that quick correction. Yeah. So he is a lecturer 2 with the University of Abuja, and you will see the stuff of the lecturer very shortly. Yeah. And we do hope that someone else will be joining us very shortly, and when he does, of course, we unveil. Now, quickly, let's go to the topic for the day. We're actually going to be looking at two topics, but the first one has to do with the election results collation. Now, maybe we should start by asking, do you also agree, like most Nigerians have said about the Edo elections, that it was an above average performance?
Well, from all indications and listening to what media reports have revealed about the election, what election observers have said, the election actually was conducted in a peaceful atmosphere. But like you rightly said, there were issues with the collection. And that actually rose a lot of debates, arguments, and dissatisfaction from different quarters. So you have rightly highlighted the key focus area of the election.
Yeah.
There were no problems with regards to the process of casting votes, accreditations, and all of that.
Right.
But it was the collation process
that had some
that usually had issues, not in only the Edo election.
Okay.
Our previous elections, yes, it has been the collation process that was causing problem. If you remember, during the 2015 election, the outburst by one of the PDP chieftains then, it was during the collation process. Yes.
Yeah.
So usually it was the collation process that was causing problems.
Mostly.
In
addition to some other things that used to be manifest, which was not present in this last election.
In this last election, yes. So many of them were managed.
Exactly. So the collation challenge has been a feature all the
recurring feature.
Yeah. All this while.
Yes.
So what particular issues do you personally have with the collation process? What do you think is wrong? I mean, we had okay, maybe we'll leave it there. Yeah.
Well, we have the laws in place.
Yes.
And the guideline to fully digitalize the process had already been there.
Yeah.
And that will have solved the problem once and for all. But there is lack of political will by those in power to fully digitalize the collation process. Why are they not willing to do that? It is simply because of their vested interests.
Good, because I was going to
They are very much sure that if they are going to digitalize it fully and to make sure that the process is transparent, then their interest is going to be at stake. And that is why they prefer to leave it as manual as it is now, or semi-manual, because there is element of digitization in the process.
Yes.
But it is semi-manual up to now. And that leaves room for a lot of manipulations. So I believe it is a deliberate effort to continue to manipulate election results that made the decision makers to stop short of digitalizing the process fully.
Now, in this last election, we saw a situation where most of the results, if not all, were uploaded on the IREV. And then at the point at which the results came out, there were reports that there were huge discrepancies, huge disparity between what the IREV displayed and what was finally announced. Is that part of what you're saying is what has been deliberately programmed to shortcut the system?
Yes, actually it is. You know, in advanced countries, in advanced democracies,
yes,
the pronouncement of election results is just a ceremonial process.
Right.
Why? Because the process is usually conducted in a very open and transparent manner, in such a way that even before the formal pronouncement,
you already know
the winner. And whatever is going to be announced is going to be in tandem with public knowledge because of the transparency of the process.
And if at all there's a difference, it won't be any.
If at all there is difference,
immaterial.
it is even going to be accounted for.
Again,
they are going to tell you this is where we had the problem and this is the cause of the problem. Now, it's not as if in this our own case there is no explanation with regards to the discrepancies.
Yeah.
Yes, the INEC is giving explanation, saying it is because of the attempts of some cyber criminals to hack the IREF portal, and that is why some of the time they go behind the scene to do a lot of things without fully conforming to the digital process.
Okay.
INEC is actually giving explanation with that in that regard.
Yes.
After the last general election, actually the INEC explained why it did not fully make use of the IREF. But my question and concern here is the INEC not aware of the issue of cyber criminals? It is not an unexpected problem. It is a challenge that you should expect beforehand.
That you should provide.
And you should know how to mitigate it. So saying there were attempts is not a genuine excuse to compromise the process that you have pledged to make use of. And a huge sum of money has already been invested for that purpose. If you look at the amount of money that was invested in this issue of IREV, the BOVAS, or what is it called?
BVAS.
Yes, BVAS. A lot of money, huge amount of money was invested in that process since before the 2023 elections. So if actually the money was invested, then why are we still having problems? There is lack of accountability in the process actually.
Now let me ask this. So since we have seen some, what would I say now? Some mischief, some deliberate lack of faithfulness, if you want. Would you then recommend that INEC should come clean to either use the digitized system or to return back to the manual system so that we know exactly what to expect and maybe therefore prepare well for it?
I will not recommend that, because that is tantamount to saying we can take one step forward, and if we so wish, we can take 2 steps backward.
Or 10.
Or 10, or more than. So I'm not actually going to recommend that. What I will say is, the world is now a global village.
Yeah.
And the world is no longer analog. Everything in the world now is digital. Other countries have gone beyond digitizing the electoral process. They are talking about a lot of things we are not even thinking about in this country in terms of digitalization. We are still stuck with digitizing our electoral process. Now, we have already taken the steps, and we have made a significant progress in that regards. Looking at where we were in 2007.
And now?
Yes, after the 2007 election, the then president, that is the winner of the election, himself admitted that the election had shortcomings.
Right.
And he pledged electoral reforms. He was true to that. He set the foundation, and we can acknowledge that the process has actually evolved.
Yeah.
So we cannot take many steps backward to say we are going back to the fully manual election. No. The digitization must continue, but it must be transparent.
So the point is, sir, is if we have a situation where you are not clear whether at the end, whether it's going to be manual collation or whether it's going to be digitized digital collation, and comparing that to a state of clarity where you know, okay, this is clearly going to be manual. Because this is it. What the current system does is that more than once or twice now, you have false hope.
Yes.
Yeah, so the people's hopes are raised that this thing is going to be transparent, it's going to run digitally, and then at the end, they fall back to the manual system. So that's the point. Should the people be at the mercy of people who continue to raise their hopes and then dash them, and do so consistently over time? Is it not better to know your fate and know that, okay, we're stuck with this, and then maybe that will also provide the players with the motivation to put on their thinking caps as to how to beat whatever fraudulent practices that the manual system is fraught with.
I get what you are trying to say. If the candidates are aware
that okay,
yes, it is going to be manual,
good, yes,
they will know how to confront it.
They will know how to exactly.
That's what you are saying. Point. But I don't want to in any way advocate that, simply because I do not see any reason why we should revert to the fully manual election. I just see it as taking steps backward. So what I'm simply saying is, we have already gone forward, we have taken the steps, we are just yet to fully derive the benefits. So I believe a lot of things need to be put in place to make sure that we are there. And it is not beyond us. It is not something we can say we lack the capacity to achieve. It is achievable. We have already done the most difficult aspect of it. We have set the foundation. We have the database, we have the voters card, we have the machineries.
We're invested.
Yes, we have already invested so much in that. So why should we now say we are going back, we are now keeping aside the technological advancement, we are now reverting to manual election? I do not want to advocate that. But what we need to advocate now is credibility in the process. Someone should be brought to book. Because all these problems that are happening, like I said earlier, they are not unexpected. If you say there are cyber criminals, if you say there are technological hitches or whatever, these are not things that are, yes, these are things that you should foresee beforehand. And you should have adequate measures of mitigating them.
Right.
You cannot go into something as serious as election, where the fate of a nation or the fate of a state is decided, and then you are leaving rooms for errors. We should not be doing that. So if we are not able to manage it well, then someone should be brought to book, and someone should be brought to ensure that the right thing is done.
Wow. Now, okay, you've insisted that we just must keep on the road to the future. I mean, the path of progress. Now, what would you say should be done if you have to be categorical? How do you think we can close these gaps? How? I mean, incidentally, the legal practitioner is not here. Maybe he would help us in terms of some legal jargons, technicalities, and all that. But even then, I think that you must have some idea of what you think should be done to close these gaps.
Well, what I think should be done, first and foremost, the leaders, those at the helm of our affairs, need to summon the political will to do the right thing. That is the first thing, and it is the most important thing. They must have the political will to change the fortune of the country's electoral process.
In essence, like from what you have said before,
yes.
Are you saying they should have the political will to shoot themselves in the foot?
Well, you are not trying to put me in a kind of dilemma.
No. We're looking at it very practically.
Yes.
Yes.
It is difficult for someone to pledge to do something that may not conform to his own personal interest.
But interestingly, we've seen examples in this country. I just don't want to, but I do know that we have had a leader, for example, who did say that the blood of no one's blood, his ambition is not worth anybody's blood.
Yes.
And
he demonstrated that. Yes, everybody was a witness.
Yes,
he actually demonstrated it against his own personal interest.
Exactly.
He kept it aside. He said, no, let the right thing be done.
They are talking about Goodluck Jonathan.
Yes,
right?
Goodluck Jonathan. Yeah. We have seen that example, really.
Yeah.
Now,
and you're saying that's the kind of example.
That is the kind of example we need. But not everybody can be like Goodluck Jonathan.
Right.
You know that, I know that. A lot of our leaders today are not going to be like Goodluck Jonathan. So that brings us to the second thing I think should be done.
Okay.
And that is using the powers of the electorates to ensure that the leaders are compelled to do the right thing.
How do
we do that?
Yeah.
We elect our representatives.
Yes.
And we have the powers to recall them.
Yeah.
And these representatives, they have the powers to compel the executive to do the right thing.
Right.
Now, if our representatives are not doing the right thing, we need to present them with clear agenda of what we want. We want our leader at the top to do this. We need this, we need that. If we agitate for this, and we see that our representatives are not doing what we ask them to do, because they are our servants, we send them there to simply convey our interest, to protect our interest, to advocate for it, and to make sure that what we are asking them to do, they do it for us.
Right.
So if they are not doing what we ask them to do, we can recall them. If we begin to do that, I tell you, if 2-3 constituencies today recall their representatives, the others will wake up to their responsibilities.
Yeah.
And they will begin to do the right thing.
Fantastic point you made. But you also want to situate it in the Nigerian reality.
Okay.
Because what you have talked about is like the ideal, right?
Yes.
But we do know that in practice, in reality, on the ground today, number one, the Nigerian electorate are not that sophisticated. The Nigerian electorate are bogged down by basic human survival issues. So I don't know, people who have, I don't know whether you looked at the voter turnout compared, you had 2.6 million registered voters, and then 2.2 collected their PVCs, yet in total you had 604,000 who were accredited. Out of the 604,000, you had only 583,000 that eventually, and some other figures, that eventually voted. It shows that the Nigerian people we are talking about themselves do not hold themselves should I say, accountable, do not hold themselves to the highest ideals of the democratic practice. They do not know their place in the space. They do not know their place in this democratic space. Because just going by that performance, by those statistics, I think that's very, very unfortunate, if you ask me. If you had 2.6 million registered voters, and at the end 2.2, which is fantastic, which is about 85% voter card collection, and then you now had just 604,000 who came out for accreditation, and out of that, a few persons also still withdrew from the actual voting process. I mean, let's even just deal using the accreditation figures,
voters,
which is 604,000. Out of 2.6 will come to less than
you don't even have up to 1 million.
You don't. That's it.
Yes.
You don't even have up to 1 million.
Yeah.
And who are going to decide the fate of probably Edo will be in the region of 5 million people. So so if you think that those kind of people who still wait to collect 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira. In this election, it was between 10, 12, 20,000 from the reports that we got, to sway them in the direction in which they are to vote. So how do you think that this kind of people will muster the courage or the will to do what you have just advocated?
Okay, you have hit the nail in the head earlier on. You said the people are battling with basic survival needs.
Yes.
We know that the basic needs are usually the first thing a person is confronted with. And once a person is not able to achieve his basic needs,
exactly,
then doing other things like participation in electoral processes
is far-fetched.
Yes, that is secondary.
Totally, yes.
Yes, the primary need of a person is to eat, to have a good shelter, take care of his health and what have you,
yes,
which has become an issue in the country.
Yeah.
So as a result of that, you really cannot blame the electorate per se for not turning out en masse to vote.
Right.
Why? Because first, they are battling with getting what to eat. Yes, existential needs.
Yeah.
They are too engrossed in trying to get that.
Yes.
So election issues become secondary to them.
Yeah.
Secondly, they have little trust in the system.
In the
and
process.
So they feel,
yes,
if I waste my time, I come out, who I vote is not going to be given, even if he's the winner. So why should I even waste my time in the first place? So these are the reasons why most of the electorates do not come out. But regarding what I have advocated,
yes,
it is not all the masses that need to first of all come together. No, you need enlightened people. You need people who have the adequate knowledge of the electoral process, the advocates among the people.
Yes.
They need to champion this kind of cause. You cannot have a cause like this without leaders.
Of course.
So among the electorates, you definitely cannot rule out the fact that there are opinion leaders, there are advocates, people that are influential, they are knowledgeable. They are the people that are supposed to lead this kind of fight.
That's correct.
If I'm to give you an example with the recent happening in the country, the protest that was conducted recently, it started from somewhere.
That's correct.
It wasn't the whole of the masses within the country that just had a meeting in a day and say we are going to embark on a nationwide protest. No, it started from somewhere. Few individuals thought among themselves, we need to protest. And they exploited different avenues. And at the end of the day, they were able to mobilize a lot of Nigerians to come out and protest. So this kind of issue, it also requires advocates. There was an attempt to do something like this in Kogi State when Dino Melaye was a senator. There was an attempt. They tried to recall him, but it was politically motivated. There was allegation that the move was motivated by the then governor of the state.
Okay.
And so along the line, it failed. But I'm telling you, if genuinely opinion leaders among the masses summon the interest to do that, it is achievable. And once a particular constituency is able to do that, the others are going to see the possibility of it, and then they are going to rise up. It is going to become realistic solution to the kind of representation we are having today.
Just before we go on a break, I also think that one of the issues that we have had with the recall process is the fact that from what has been in the public space is that the process is very rigid, yes, very difficult to play around and operate, and that's why at some time people even start it and then they just back off. They just get sick of it and then leave it again. Don't you think that something should be done? In actual fact, I think just recently before these elections, INEC also brought out a new set of recall, a revised recall process for for members of the legislature. I've not gone through it, but I expect, because that's the only way it can be effective, that it will be a lot more easier. It should be made a lot more easily comprehended and easy to deploy. What would you say to that?
The process is really too cumbersome.
Yes.
It is too rigid. It is meant to be like that in order to prevent abuse, frivolities, yes, frivolities, abuse of the process. But if the process will be simplified a little,
yes,
it will be a welcome development.
Right.
But I don't want to advocate too much, because if you say it should be revised, who are those that are going to revise it?
The same people.
The same people. And so I don't think they will willingly revise what they think will work against them. So I don't even want to go to that level. But if you look at it, even the way it is
right now,
it is difficult, but it is achievable.
It is doable, right.
And if we look at what is at stake, our future,
yes,
forget about us now. Yes. We have children, we have grandchildren. Yes, the world now is not thinking about this present generation. Why do we have sustainable development goals? The issue of sustainability is not about the present generation. The present generation, we can use our resources, we benefit ourselves, but if at the same time we are not preserving the resources for the future generation, then there is going to be a problem for them. That is what bettered the concept of sustainability. Right. While we are making use of our resources in the environment today, we should also be thinking about the upcoming generations. We should not exhaust it. That is why some people are advocating the planting of trees. It is thinking about the future generation, not because the trees we have today cannot serve our needs. So if we are talking about this recall process, we should not be thinking about ourselves
only.
We should be thinking about our own children, our grandchildren. We think about their future. If things continue to go like this, which kind of country are we going to leave for them to inherit? And that is why we need to summon the courage, the zeal, and everything it requires for us to undergo through whatever kind of rigorous process it is for us to get it right.
Right. We'll go on a break right now, and when we get back, we'll throw the phone line open, and so that our viewers can have a say.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why, at KAFTAN Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At KAFTANTV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
At KAFTAN Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Wait, we're coming to you in style.
Here we are, starting from September.
Look at what the facts are.
And as you say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
And that's why, at KAFTAN Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At KAFTAN TV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
It's an aggregation of all you need to know in Nigeria
and around the world to create signal.
At KAFTAN Television, we have all it takes to be on top in broadcasting.
Our mission is simple: to project Africa in a truthful yet positive manner.
Wait, we're coming to you in style.
Here we are, starting from September.
Look at what the facts are.
And as you say on KAFTAN TV, imagine a beautiful world.
While wrapping up the day, unwind with the reminiscence of the day's news from home and abroad with KAFTAN TV 7 p.m. news.
Good to have you join us on KAFTAN News at 7.
Nigerians are living in up to 5%. Our young people, we propose the Harmony Symphony.
It's good to have you join us on KAFTAN TV News at 7.
When we found that the 10 naira card was not actually sufficient.
National, foreign news headlines. Get balanced, accurate facts on the latest news in business, politics, entertainment, sports, and more. Live from our studios.
Many thanks for watching and join us again at 9
KAFTAN TV News.
In the beginning, God created a beautiful world.
3, 2, 1. Action.
and that's why, at KAFTAN Television,
we imagine a beautiful world.
We are not just bragging.
We blaze the trail in broadcasting. And it is about you.
At KAFTAN TV, broadcasting is not just about information, education, and entertainment.
Welcome back, viewers. We're still on the Polity, coming to you from KAFTAN Television, the Abuja studios. And we, myself and my guest, Hussain and Mshelia Ismail, we have been looking at the election results collation that has become a recurring problem in our election process. over time, and what we can do to stem this ugly tide. And right now, I will ask that the numbers be put on the TV screen. It's 080-299-38365, so that those of you who are interested in making calls can call and make your own views count. Now, so while that is being expected, so you have just said that very crucial is the need for the political class to demonstrate political will.
Yes.
Yes, and then you have also said that the people should also play their part by insisting on what they want, which is a way of saying that it's something that both parties need to be involved in, both the led and the leaders.
Yes.
And so we need to educate the people, maybe increase the tempo of voter education to let them know that this is a very crucial role that they need to play for the right things to be done, which is, I mean, and this is part of the voter education in any case. So Nigerians, it's up to us to a large extent whether we truly want democracy and whether we truly want the proper ideals of democracy to be practiced, or whether we want it wishy-washy the way it has been, or whether we don't want it at all. So because unless we play our part, it's not South Africans that will come and play our part for us in Nigeria.
Of course,
it's not Kenyans. In actual fact, in South Africa, we saw their elections recently.
Yeah.
The kind of thing you were talking about, that before the final results are announced, you have an idea.
In Senegal,
you have an idea. From the screens, you already know, okay, this person is leading, and by such and such distance, and all that and all that.
Yes.
So we really need to make up our minds what we want. And hunger or no hunger, because indeed, the way we agree that there are existential realities, existential challenges, but if we continue to pamper ourselves and just play around and dance around those things, they will still never change.
They will continue to compound.
Exactly, they'll get worse. So we really need to engage these issues and engage them maybe head on. That's the whole point. And so, dear viewers, we expect you to call in right now and make your own points so that we can together correct this anomaly. Yeah, so we will need to move on a little by saying the way it stands, both of us are not lawyers, and that's where the role of a lawyer would have been very much important. What do you think, because there have been complaints by the supposed loser, the PDP, there have been complaints by the party. They have said that they will head to the courts, and one of the observers, one of the very top observers, Yaga Africa, has also said that something funny happened in the coalition process, and I think a few other observers have said the same thing. So, and in actual fact, I know that it became an issue between the APC and Yaga Africa yesterday when APC, stopped short of saying, shut up your mouth, to Yaga Africa. So, if that is so, do you think that this will hold in court? Do you think that this, incidentally, it's not yet in court? I'm not aware, so I think that we're free to talk about it. There's something prejudicial about this. So I think that, so I'm asking, do you think that this will stand up in court? This victory will be upheld by the courts?
In my opinion, it is going to be upheld in the courts.
So why do you say that? So
I say that because we know that usually in this country there were a few exceptions, and if you look at the few exceptions, you still have some underlying reasons and explanations behind them.
Why they even did?
But
why
we know that usually, in most cases,
yes,
the party ruling the country,
yes,
if there is any election in a different state and the matter ends up getting to court, the ruling party, that is the country's ruling party, ends up getting victory in the tribunal. We have exceptions,
yeah,
including the recently concluded general elections. There were election petitions challenging the elections of Kano, Zamfara, Plateau, and others,
yeah,
who were not candidates of the ruling party.
Ruling party, yeah.
But there were some occurrences behind the scene.
Okay.
It was alleged that there was negotiation.
Okay, so
between the ruling party, yes,
political settlement.
It became a give and take issue.
Okay,
we uphold your victory, and then you give us this. This is an allegation. It is an allegation, yes. But it was alleged to be so. So this particular one, I do not see anything that is going to stop the ruling party from winning the petition in the court.
Yeah, but maybe there's something you are not saying. I mean, the ruling party is not the court. The ruling party is not the court. So why do you think that
the tribunal, the judiciary, is hardly independent? This is a common knowledge in Nigeria, and it is very unfortunate. The judiciary is hardly independent. Even the Independent National Electoral Commission, it is hardly independent. So there have been cases of manipulations, of cases in the court. Some of them were approved.
Right.
I don't want to go that length, but there were clear examples of manipulations of different cases in the judicial arm of government.
All right. So as far as you're concerned, what you're saying is tantamount to saying that you have no faith in the judiciary, Nigerian judiciary.
I have little faith in the Nigerian judiciary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You do not think there will be any departure from the most common trends when it comes to matters like this?
I don't think so.
Right. Okay. On the basis of what you just said, if you were close to the PDP leaders, what would you be saying to them?
If I was close to them, I would still tell them to go to the court.
Oh, they should still.
Yes.
They should still test it in court.
For the sake of prosperity, not prosperity. For the sake of
posterity.
Posterity.
Yeah.
You need to fight for your rights.
Okay, let it be on record.
It is another thing if you get it. It is another thing if you don't get it. But fight for it. It is your right. You are allowed to. If you get it, good and fine. It will speak well for the Nigerian judiciary.
Yes.
We will say yes, some things are changing. Some
and
things are working.
Speak well, even for the party itself.
Yes, we will say some things are working. It happened in the same Edo State. There was a time the ruling party lost the election.
Yeah.
No, won the election. Opposition went to court.
And got it.
Yes, they got it. Talking about Adams Oshomole.
Right.
He got his victory in the court.
Yeah, that's the first tenure.
That is exactly why we are having the election at this.
Staggered.
Yes,
that's correct.
So it happened before. They should still try it, but they should not go with the 100% hope that justice is going to be served.
So if there's no if the hope of justice being served is slim, why go ahead and waste resources? I'm talking resources. It's not just money, effort, man hours, hope, and everything.
It is a case of try your luck. If you get it, you benefit.
Yeah.
If you don't get it, it is on record and you will satisfy yourself, you satisfy your supporters that their efforts, you have made your best possible effort to ensure that you have given them what they voted. But your effort fell short. And so I think you'll be happy with yourself. Your supporters will also be satisfied with
that
what you have
did.
done.
Yeah.
Yes.
That on their behalf you...
On their behalf, yes, you have put in the effort. So it is not a wasted effort.
Right. And if there's a clear case of a travesty of justice, it will be seen by all.
It will be seen. Everybody will be there to examine to observe the process, to examine the judgment, to know whether justice is served or not. So if there is travesty of justice and the cases are compounding, we have travesty of justice in this particular case, another one happened, another one happened, it will lead to some significant occurrences that will lead to a positive change.
Eventually.
Yes, eventually. Yes. So going to court will actually contribute to that process, even if there is no victory.
Right now.
Right now.
Okay, so the lack of victory right now could very well pave the way for the ultimate victory.
Yes, right. Yes, that is what I'm saying.
Right. Viewers, we're going to be going, after this break, we'll be going to another topic. There are currently some imperatives that we should be dealing with as a nation. And incidentally, one of the spokesmen of the president yesterday did say that the president will, any moment from now, be reshuffling his cabinet. This is something that a lot of Nigerians have been convinced was overdue for quite some time now. And so we want to look at what shape should it be taking, how soon, I mean, is it really urgent and all that? And then also, there is the issue of envoys that have not been appointed by this administration even 1 year after. And that's a whole vacancy. And in the modern context, it's a kind of a misnomer.
Yeah,
it's an aberration.
It is a big vacuum.
It is.
Yes.
Yeah, so when we get back after this break, we will still expect your calls, but then this is the direction we will be going after this break. Welcome back, dear viewers. The number is still open, 08029938365. So based on what we have discussed already, you can make your contributions. We will take your call. But while you're getting ready to do that, we would like to go into some other direction, which I previously introduced. And that's talking about the imminent cabinet reshuffle by Mr. President. Do you think this is necessary? Do you think it's...
It is very necessary. It is overdue.
Overdue?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because if things are not going right, and we will not pretend to say that things are going right in this country today, a lot of things are going amiss. So that necessitates you reshuffle your cabinet as a president in order to take different approaches to the one you are currently using. So it is very necessary.
All right. Many people have, many analysts, observers, and maybe opposition figures have said that this current cabinet is composed majorly of cronies and political jobbers, politicians, and all that. Do you agree with that? And do you what kind of replacements would you like to see?
You asked two questions.
Yeah.
If I agree with that assertion first,
yes, yes,
and then which kind of replacement will I want to see?
Yeah,
I agree with what they have said, but I need to say that it is not peculiar to this administration.
No, yeah,
it is more or less a political culture within this country. It is an unwelcome one, but that is how it has been. Political appointments in the country since the return of democracy in 1999 has been political compensation. Only those people close to the people in power are appointed, regardless to whether they are
the
experts, whether they have the competence and the merits to do what they are appointed to do or not. And that is really unfortunate. With regards to this present administration, I will give you some examples.
Right.
One of the major problems we are having in this country today, or even the most pressing problem, is security challenge.
That's correct.
I want to believe a lot of viewers will also agree with me.
Yeah.
Now, the president was to appoint 2 ministers of defense, the substantive minister and the minister of state. Look at the people he appointed. Was any of them having expertise with regards to security issues?
Pedigree?
Yes, any pedigree with regards to defense or security issues? We need to ask ourselves this question. This is the #1 issue. If you look at the voluntary national review of Nigeria on the SDGs of 2020, we have given up on pursuing the 17 sustainable development goals. We narrowed down our priority to only 7 SDGs based on 5 priority areas of the Nigerian government. Poverty and inclusive economy, education and gender equality, health and well-being, what do you call it? Sustainable defense. That is environment of peace, sustainable environment of peace and whatever. Now, if you look at that, it is one of the key areas the country is trying to give enormous efforts to make sure that things are put right. This present president inherited the throne. He was sworn in, and it was also the area he felt needed the most attention, going by the budget he first signed. He allocated the greatest portion of the budget to defense. But when you come to appoint ministers, you are appointing former governors. Yes, former governors, we can make the case that yes, they were the chief security officers of their states.
Quote and unquote.
Yes.
Yeah.
But does that mean they are really experts and they are the best in terms of that job? I have an argument in this regard. So actually, the ministers that have been appointed or the members of this cabinet, they are just political cronies and they were just giving their positions based on compensation.
I think that you have made a very fantastic
example.
example.
Asked the second question.
Yes, okay, yeah.
The second question is, which kind of change will I want to see?
Yes.
And the first answer has answered the second question.
Yeah.
If we are saying you do not appoint the right people, and now we are advocating for change, and even you acknowledge that there is need for change, then simply go back to the drawing board, appoint technocrats for every sector. Education sector,
maybe
we can say yes, you have appointed a professor.
A professor, yeah.
So in that respect, we are just to look at what he has done, his records.
Yeah.
Over the
and maybe tweak.
Yes, to make sure he's doing the right thing. If he's not, there are other professors, bring them. If you go to security or defense, look at people that have the pedigree, bring them. If you go to economy, bring people that have the pedigree. That is the kind of change I want to see.
Great. Now, the example of the kind of wrong appointment that you alluded to when you mentioned the defense portfolio, I think is even a lot more instructive in terms of the fact that some of these governors you are talking about headed states, managed states where, I mean, that were run aground by bandits, by ragtag armies, and in fact, even right now, there are still allegations,
and counter accusations,
exactly,
yes,
that some of these people had their fingers soiled in that system. And so clearly, you're saying those kind of people do not measure up to take up those kind of positions. So your point is well made. And you have also said you expect technocrats. Now, let me ask, when in the process of speaking just now, you hinted at the fact that a professor is in charge of education. Is it in terms of the laurels or in terms of real capacity brought to bear that will matter in these matters? Because I don't know, we have had cases of, we've had all kinds of cases in this country. Yeah, we've had all kinds of cases in this country.
Okay.
We have had people, incidentally, the last Minister of Education, I don't think even had a doctorate or so. In actual fact, some people said his academic background was a bit...
he was a journalist.
He was a
the
journalist.
Immediate past
exactly,
minister, yes, he was
yes.
a journalist, but he was an advocate of
education,
better education.
Better education. So
yes.
on the strength of that, the
yes.
president appointed him. There were all kinds of arguments about the fact that he didn't have those laurels. Now, do you think that hampered his performance?
Are you talking about the immediate past?
The immediate past.
No.
Okay.
What I believe happened was he found himself in a cycle and there was a rule he had to play by. And if he didn't do that, he was going to be taken out of the cycle. So he simply had to dance to the tune of whatever music was being played when he was there. Because before being appointed, if you look at his write-ups, a lot of things he has written, he was now handed the mantle to make sure that these things are implemented. But he became a completely different person. If you take the issue of ASU and federal government, he had been criticizing the federal government for not addressing ASU's demands. He had been criticizing the government for not allocating a lot of resources for the education sector. But he became the Minister of Education, and he was the same person that was accusing ASU for being too greedy, over-ambitious, unrealistic, and all of that.
It was under his administration that
no work, no pay was implemented, when he was a staunch critic of the government and a very much supporter of ASU. But in his own administration, as a decision maker, ASU went on strike and he declared no work, no pay. Or he consented to it. And then beside that, he allowed ASU to go on one of the longest strikes in the history of the nation. So the only reasonable explanation I can give to myself is that this person was actually only playing by the rule, and he had no choice but to do that.
So can't we enlarge that to say that that is the same challenge that most ministers have, and that's why they're not performing?
Yes, that is how the country works.
That's how it works.
Yes, but
so if that's how it works, what guarantees do we have that even bringing in fresh blood will make any difference?
What we have now is a different administration.
Yes.
And there is something at stake. What is at stake now is the president knows his second term ambition is hanging on good performance over the remaining 3 years.
Well, that's debatable in Nigeria, yeah? Good.
Yes.
Yes.
He's having 3 remaining years.
Yes.
The first year had generated a lot of dissatisfaction from Nigerians. So he's having merely 2 years
exactly
to fix things and to make a good case for second term ambition.
Right.
Now, the first step he needs to take is to ensure that he appoints the right people into the right positions and he compels them to do the right thing. So I want to believe that with his second term ambition at stake now, I want to believe he's going to reshuffle the cabinet, he's going to appoint the right people, and he's going to compel them to do the right thing because he wants to make a good case to deserve second tenure.
Yeah, but we do know that even if he doesn't do anything, we've had several. Even if he sleeps and snores and gets, just gets comfy and he decides that he will come back, don't you think he will?
I don't think so, because there was a record in the country in 2015.
Yes.
An incumbent president was not able to win the election.
Yes.
So this president is also aware of that. He was part of those that jubilated over the defeat of the incumbent president. Yes.
Him, yeah.
So he's aware of that, and even his election, the election that brought him to power, the recently concluded general election, it was marked by controversies. It wasn't easy for him.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, really difficult for him. And even where he was having large followership, he's losing it now.
Because of current policies.
Because of current policies, the hardship in the country and all of that. So I want to believe he's seeing what is happening and he's going to tell himself the truth that it is not going to be an easy ride.
Now, tell me, apart from you already mentioned the case of the Ministry of Defense. Where else do you think that, which other portfolios do you think have been very poorly managed? Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Wow. I have mentioned 2 already.
2 or 1?
Yes, I have mentioned 2.
Defense.
Defense, okay. I have not mentioned education.
Oh, no, the education,
okay.
It's fairly a positive report. There was something I wanted to draw from that when you mentioned the education, so that maybe I don't forget. Are you saying that, because you did say if the current professor is not up to it, there are other professors. So I'm saying, must they be professors?
It need not necessarily be professors, but it should be someone who knows much
about the sector,
about the education sector.
All right then. So now let's look at.
And I need to add that I'm not satisfied
with the
current Minister of Education's performance. So it is the second sector I will highlight.
Right.
Because education is the engine for growth of every nation.
Right.
So we need to have someone who can fix the education sector.
Yeah, maybe don't you think that if he gets some more time, then he probably would upgrade?
Well, I prefer not to say anything with that regard.
Okay. Now let's look at some other sectors, some other portfolios.
Okay, the economy, we don't need to say much about that because everybody knows the nation's economy is in an intensive care unit at the moment. The policies are not working.
Yes, is it not a case of the fact that you have to have, how do I put this now? Like you have to have heat before the food gets cooked?
No, that is not the case. I don't think that is the case. Our problem is we are copying what others are doing because we are just looking at their success. Okay. But we have different realities with them. We are copying the Western societies. Most of our policies today, most of the policies of this administration, they are IMF-induced policies. The removal of the fuel subsidy, the floating of the naira, and all of that. These are policies that are induced by the Western societies. But we need to look at our own peculiar realities. And those things are not put into consideration before adopting these policies.
So it's like people are in a hall, but because somebody does not know that the question paper you have is different from the one I have, it just keeps dubbing what he sees the other party writing, believing that he probably will, whereas the questions are totally different.
That is a perfect analogy with what is happening to us today. Yes.
Because it will never work.
Yes, if you say removal of fuel subsidy, we need to invest the money in other developmental projects. That is the argument.
Yes, that's it.
And then the floating of the naira, you say we need to make the naira to fight for itself, to stand. We cannot continue to defend the naira. But the masses are dying. That is one. Secondly, you have even just implemented these policies without thinking of the repercussion. What I think need to be done before you begin to adopt these policies is to take some measures that will ease whatever suffering is going to come. We are talking about palliative measures. Which of them is implemented at the moment? At the moment, we are still having committees that are negotiating the implementation of the minimum wage.
Hallelujah. I guess
minimum wage.
The first person. Let's take this. Please don't lose your train of thought. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon. Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah. What's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Yobe. My name is
Suleiman, you're welcome. Please, let's have your take. Davis, hello. Put down the volume of your TV set. You need to do this very drastically.
Can you hear me now?
It's better, yeah?
Now,
I think you still need to do more.
Okay, I will.
You've not done anything about it. Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, this is good. Okay. Now, hello?
Hello?
This country, we continue talking, advocating.
Yeah.
The cabinet of Mr. President.
Yeah.
Young lady was giving the minister. He's not matured enough to even address himself. How much more to address it? So we have a lot of problems. We have a lot of things to change. Let it throw it for open debate. Let us appoint minister for him.
Oh, he should throw it as an open debate and let the people appoint ministers for him.
If not, so we are going nowhere. We are going nowhere. You can't just because somebody voted for you, campaign for you, you give me a minister post. These are the people that will care for the country. See, so my own is just a common man here.
Yeah.
It's already boy, it doesn't listen. 2027 is gone. Our banner will put him away.
Thank you, Suleiman.
You're welcome.
Right.
You're welcome.
Now, you heard that. But isn't that what we also do when the president has to submit names to the National Assembly for confirmation? Let's take this. If indeed we believe that, hello? If indeed we believe that the National Assembly are our representatives, and usually the list of the president's ministers, ministerial nominees will go to the National Assembly, is that not a way of involving the average Nigerian, since our representatives are there?
What is that his point?
That it should be thrown open and that Nigerians should appoint ministers for him, for the president.
It will become a rowdy. So I think
that's not practicable.
Yes, it is so practicable. The process should remain the way it is, but then the president should be realistic. He should open his eyes to look at what is happening in the country.
Hello.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
This Akinde, I'm calling from Akure.
All right, Akinde, please, let's hear your contribution.
Concerning this collation bill that have been affecting and killing our democratic settings or systems, I believe that
we are in the modern technologies. We are in the modern stage. There are a lot of countries around the whole world that they have been doing an election, and the election will be, there is no 100% election that can be free and fair, but at least it will be 90-something%. Look at what happened to in Edo. It's an injury to the democracy that we have been practicing in Nigeria, because the whole Nigeria believe that we are all passing through the tough times in Nigeria now. And when this has been happening here and there, and the national chairman of APC is boasting that what happened in Edo will happen in Ondo State, and they will give another setback in Anambra, which means that it is a willingly decision of APC to truncate the system of democracy in Nigeria. And this can never give us way out. One party system can never give a reasonable future for Nigeria. Even as we are practicing more than one party systems in Nigeria, we have never having a way out.
Akinde, let me quickly ask you, if you don't mind. Do you expect the APC chairman to say that Labour Party will win over his party?
But what they are saying, they have been saying it authoritatively as if there is something behind in the mind.
No.
As the position, as the democratic rulers of the party, as the chairman of the party, if it is what happened in Edo, will be jeering us up in Ondo State to take Ondo State or that thing. But the way you have been saying it, the way putting it, is it's a signal. It's a signal that our democracy is under threat of APC.
All right. Akinde, thank you for calling. Thank you for your contribution. Now,
thank you.
Yeah, but I think that is just expression of optimism.
Exactly. So there's no point going back and forth on it.
If I was the chairman of APC, I would definitely be bold enough to say
promote your own brand. Exactly. I mean, if the Labour Party chairman also speaks, he's not going to speak in favor of another
I think that
party.
is just an expression of optimism.
Promoting your own brand. And, but it's no use just being unnecessarily.
And one thing I want us to understand is this issue of elections, not getting it right. We are fond of making this mistake of singling out one party to say that party is our
whereas
problem.
All the parties are guilty.
We have been making that mistake right before the coming of APC. We single out PDP to say PDP was the problem of Nigeria. 2015, we came out en masse, we voted out PDP. Today, we are still saying APC is the problem of Nigeria. Now. If we vote out APC in the next election, another party continues to do this, will we still be saying that party was the problem of the country? I don't think party is our problem. Our problems are the individuals.
And the politicians.
That are the individuals.
Hello.
Hello?
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon. This is Hussain from Warri, Delta State.
Yeah, please, let's hear you.
I want to talk about this Edo State, the recently concluded Edo State elections.
Yeah.
Your guest said the PDP and other parties should go to court. But I would say, let's look at Nigeria. The truth is that even though they go to court, they won't win the case. Let's take for example.
Yeah, he also did not guarantee that they will win the case. Go ahead.
The last election, the presidential election tribunal, the evidence brought before the judges, it was so clear and clean. Let's take, for example, the secondary school. They said our president finished wrong. The secondary school was founded before, it was founded after.
No, I don't think that those issues are any use any longer right now.
Yeah, yes. They said the judge said it's technical. They use some judiciary language or whatever to trash out all the evidences. What I'm trying to say is that Osumole won 2007 through the courts. Yes. Even in Delta State, Uduaga lost his election. Then they did a rerun election in 2011 in Delta State too. But that was then when the judiciary was still the last hope of the common man, not now. before the chief judge of federation left, remember what he did? He appointed his daughter, Wiki appointed his wife. They're all judges now. So who do you expect to judge the case?
No, but those, see, I think that we need to be careful, Osagi. You see, those appointments you just referred to didn't come just from nowhere. These people have been in the system. They had been part of the system. They were judges. This is why, for example, had been a judge in Rivers State. And so, if she works hard enough and the system believes that she has earned the epaulets, I think that she should get it. I think that we need to be a little bit careful about those kind of remarks.
Okay.
Yes,
but what I'm trying to say is this. What I'm trying to say is this. The judiciary presently is not what I won't say
it's your right to.
It's not the last of common. It's the last of for the rich and influential.
All right. Well, that's your opinion, and it's well made. Thank you very much for your call. Thank you. Yeah. So, I asked you not to lose the train of your thoughts. Do you still? Yeah.
Yes,
so
I can remember.
Continue.
I was talking about the need to put in place palliative measures before you implement policies.
Right.
Especially policies you are borrowing from outside. We are trying to remove fuel subsidies. It didn't take the president a day in office. In fact, even before getting to office, he declared the removal of the fuel subsidy.
Yes.
But we are talking about palliative measures. Minimum wage. He had to set up committee to work for months to spend money for the committee. At the end of the day, they were able to negotiate 70,000. The committee did not even negotiate the 70,000. The president had to come in to take over the negotiation. Yeah. They arrived at 70,000. Now, that was arrived at since, was it July or June? How many months ago? It is not yet implemented.
That's it.
There are committees or a committee set up to look at the consequential adjustments. So what I'm trying to say is, you have not put in place all of these things to cushion the effect of the policy, and you have gone ahead to implement the policy.
Maybe there's more to even talk about. It was supposed to be effective, I think, May, but recently the reports say that it is now going to be effective from July. So that's some loss to the workers again.
Yes.
Not just that. If you look at the current value of the naira, between when that was agreed upon and now, of course, there's been some depreciation.
The naira, that brings me back to the point. The naira is depreciating simply because it is being floated. The naira is defending itself.
Yes.
Before you adopt that policy, I think you need to make sure that your country is beginning to produce.
Yeah, the manufacturing sector.
Yes, you are reducing over reliance on import.
Yeah.
You are beginning to export.
Exactly.
That is the time you are supposed to fill
through
your
that,
country.
your external reserves will be building up.
That is the right time for you to say, okay, let me allow my currency to now defend itself. Let me stop defending it. But you have not done all of these things. Even the power sector, which is the backbone of the economy, the power sector, the energy we need.
Can we take this?
Okay.
Hello?
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Alpha from Niger State.
All right. You need to help us and help yourself by reducing the volume of your TV set.
Okay, sorry, sir.
Yeah, go ahead now. Go ahead.
I just want to use this opportunity to appreciate you guys from this effort of debating things.
Thank you.
I don't have much to do, but my prayer should be all these things you guys have been saying should be implemented, because I really enjoy the conversation.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Yes,
yeah, so
that is our prayers too.
Exactly. We also pray that the right things will be done.
So I was saying, you see, even the power sector that is supposed to strengthen the economy, it is still where it is. We know much about it.
Yeah.
The power tariff is increased. So many local industries are going to die down.
They are already dying. Yeah.
They are already dying.
Yeah.
You are already discouraging foreign investors from coming into the country. So with all of these things now, you are still going ahead to say you are floating your currency. I think it is a case of doing what others are doing without putting in place what they put in place. Yes, we are copying from them, but we need to ask ourselves, before they adopt all of these policies,
what did they do?
What did they do to cushion the effects?
Now, quickly, because this part of it came from listing some of the portfolios that you think need a
power
so
sector.
You have just mentioned economy.
I have added power sector.
Power sector.
We know where it is. Power sector is very, very important. If today the Nigerian electricity supply is going to be very stable, then I tell you, I assure you, our economy is going to be stronger, because so many small-scale enterprises, so many local industries, they are going to stand on their feet. If you look at Kaduna today, we used to have textile industries. Do we have them today? They are no longer functional. Kano used to be an industrial city. Today, it is not where it used to be.
So you used to have Sharada, industrial estate, Bompai.
But today, Kano is a shadow of itself in that respect. So the power sector is very, very important. We need to appoint someone who can fix the sector very well. If you look at the increase in the tariff, yes, it was increased, but there is no corresponding improvement
in service,
in the service provided.
Let's take this. This will be our last call, most likely. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
This is Joseph from Enugu.
All right, let's hear your contribution.
Yeah, we...
Joseph from Enugu, is that the prof?
Enugu, yes. But this one does not require being prof. Just Joseph.
Yeah.
My senior colleague, thank you. You are welcome.
Yeah, God bless you. Yeah. So the truth is that we have a lot of policy issues. No country has ever developed without having enough power. Because when you check our population of about 200 million, we just oscillate between 4,000 and 6,000 megawatts. Brazil has a similar population of about 230 million. Brazil has more than 100,000 megawatts of electricity. And the bulk of that amount is from their rivers, Amazon River and their tributaries.
So it's hydropower.
Yeah, hydropower. So I don't know why we are not really utilizing. We are blessed with so many rivers. Apart from the two major rivers, we have many tributaries where we can build some dams also to help us to change and also generate electricity. We have our defense is so low for our population. That's why we are not making progress. If you recall, Vision 2009. That vision recommended about between that 2009 and 2020.
So, Prof, in a nutshell, you also are recommending that there must be some change of guards in the power sector.
Not necessarily. See, our problem is just changing of guards. It's just the same. You know, like most politicians in our country, like one league they call it the league. Politicians are like the Chinese. They have the same face.
Okay.
But there's no difference between, so I don't even, it's not really different. So even if you bring the difference, because of how we work, how our system is working, that person will not perform magic. I know the man is a lawyer, but that is not even the issue, because you have technical people in the Ministry of Power. But the issue is that we are not generating enough.
Okay.
That's the problem.
Thank you so much.
It's affecting our economy, it's affecting everything.
Yes, I agree with you. So definitely, he's agreeing with you.
We are not doing well. Before I drop.
Yeah.
Why can't we have solar?
Yeah, but today we are saying maybe the persons in charge are the ones not doing the work well. So that's where we want to be localized around. So.
Yeah. See, what I'm saying so is that even US is subsidizing solar.
I agree with you entirely, but I'm insisting.
Solar is something that we are blessed with solar energy.
Apparently, this will become necessary when the president finally rejigs his cabinet. Some of these will be useful for him in some memoranda to help his tenure. But we're saying right now whether the persons in charge have done well. And so we have agreed.
I'm not sure because I don't have cannot judge the ministers because I don't have their job, what they have done so far. I cannot judge them.
Oh,
so what
all
I'm
right.
saying,
We will have to leave it there because time's gone. We need to round up now.
Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. So, yes, thank you. So as it is, we will need to begin to round up.
Okay.
So we need to take the last lines. Maybe you want to include one more?
Yes.
Because let it look like you're talking to the president. He has hired you as a consultant to advise him on which portfolios really desperately need to be...
In addition to the three I've already mentioned,
yes,
I will really need to...
I think 4.
Okay, 4. I need to emphasize the need to also fix agricultural sector.
Right, okay.
Because we are seeking to reduce over-reliance on oil sector.
Yes.
And from the policies of the last administration, the country is trying to make the economy to rely more on agriculture.
Right.
Going by the economic growth and recovery plan of the last administration.
Yeah.
Agriculture is seen as the bedrock of the future economy. And looking at the significance of agriculture to food security and to the economy also, we really need to have someone who can take us.
We must run along now. So what will your last line be in 30 seconds?
Okay. With regards to election first,
yeah,
I would say we need to stop riding a camel in the jet age.
All right.
We need full digitization.
Okay.
Then with regards to the cabinet reshuffle, I really encourage the president to summon the zeal and the will to appoint the
We didn't get around to appointing envoys. Maybe we'll do this some other time. Yeah, that whole sector we were unable to touch. But
it is a different ball game.
Yes, that's another one.
Yes.
At this point, viewers, we will need to draw the curtains to this program today. Again, it's been a wonderful time with our guest, Hussain Mshelia Ismail. I believe I'm correct.
You are correct.
Right.
You are calling the middle name first.
Oh, okay. So what should the other be?
Ismail Hussain Mshelia.
All right then. So thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
And I really want to say thank you to the production team. I want to thank every viewer who has stayed glued to this program up till now, and much more to those who made the effort to call in. Thank you so very much. And I know that together we will turn this country around, and that great Nigeria of our dreams will soon be a reality. Thank you. I'm out.